Welcome to Prophyles. This video is a demo of the distribute function in Prophyles.
Hi, my name is Sam Stewart, and I'm the UX/UI manager at Prophyles. Let me start with a disclaimer saying that what I'm about to show you is a demo of our prototype, a tool for me to show you the functionalities of our in-development product.
Let's start by quickly stating the problems with current personal information distribution and how Prophyles will solve them. Now, who likes filling out forms? Especially over and over again, updating them, correcting them, with each form being almost identical. Aren't you tired of it? It's repetitive, inefficient, a waste of time, and unnecessary. It's also boring, laborious, tedious, and error-prone. And after doing so, what if your information changes? Then it's outdated because forms live in their own silo. So then you have to reapply and update that same form over again. And since they're carrying your personal information, companies must be compliant with GDPR, CCPA, and Cal-OPA if they do business in California, all of which is quite demanding and taxing. On top of that, they need to carry expensive insurance premium to protect them from hacking, phishing, and more. Well, that's a lot that could be entirely avoided. Let me show you. Now here's a loan application from Capital One. Instead of manually filling out the form, why can't you just click on an autofill button, like this one? And voila, you're done. You can also reset it, download the Prophyles app, and get more info on the autofill function. Now it's efficient and convenient for the applicant and for the bank. Now let me show you another use case of how your personal information is distributed. So what happens when you receive an email address from a new contact for the first time? Most of the time, you don't bother to create a card for them in your address book, and therefore they can get lost in your inbox. But if you care enough, you let Apple or Google create a default vCard from the email address and the email signature. The problem with the latter is the signature is just a PNG and can't be translated into other formats. B, it tends to lack in information. And C, that information will become eventually outdated and unusable as soon as your new contact changes something. So why can't you just click on a button, like this one, to connect with your new contact? And what I mean by connect is a real link between your profile and theirs, so that A, you're truly connected, meaning you get automatic updates if they change any information, for example, their email address, and B, you get the entire package of rich information that they are willing to share with you, not just an empty, shallow card composed of just an email. All of that without typing whatsoever. You may argue, well, why all that information? I don't need it. And my answer is, why not if you can have it without lifting a finger? It's an opportunity to build richer and deeper connections with your contacts. And you'll never know when that information could come in handy. Now let me show you another use case. Let's say you're meeting new people on an online meeting, like Zoom, for the first time. How do you connect with them? Well, with Prophyles, you can have an embedded digital card like here. You can click on it and flip it to see their information. And then you can engage with them through their social media links, communicate with them through email, text, etc. And you can use the Prophyles app to write any notes or reviews so that you can remember your first impressions or anything you want to remember about them. One more thing. Since the initial connection was done through Zoom, Prophyles will actually automatically record when and where the initial contract occurred, and you can add your reason for that connection for future reference. How cool is that? Now, social logins. You might not know it, but these are tools often used to spy on you. Yes, it's very convenient, but at what expense? By using them, you're essentially granting them a perpetual license to track you and trace you everywhere forever. Well, at Prophyles, we want to offer you a safe universal login. And as a company, we highly value your privacy and control, so the tools we give you are here to serve you. Now let me show you the last use case. Most websites have their executives listed, but how do you connect and engage with them? You have to go to Facebook or LinkedIn and request a connection and pray that they will respond. In the best scenario, which is the example shown here where they provide all these links, it's still not a true connection. It's more like a transaction, and you still have to go through all the different links and media to find the information or way in that you're looking for. But in this situation, if you click on the Profiles button, you can get all of this information, and you can engage as we saw in the Zoom use case. In Jess's case, she can also easily connect with people while hiding her private information safely through customized connections and personas. Now let's summarize the main functions that you just saw. In summary, Prophyles offers the following distribution functions: autofill of forms with just a click, real connections between profiles at any point of contact, including in-person, call, text, calendar, social network, and the two that you just saw, which were email and Zoom. A safe universal login that does not track or trace you. Empowering biographies for friction-free connection and engagement. I forgot to mention a very important point, which is that all such functionality is offered through our APIs. So, all what a company needs to do is embed a few lines of code on their website or in their app to be able to fetch the data that they're requesting in the forms from our database. From that point on, their form is connected to Prophyles, and thus any updates will be automatically sent to them. So, what are the benefits of our APIs? Well, they offer convenience to our users so that they don't have to repeatedly type their information over and over again, which is error-prone, tedious, and risky. Companies get quality, reliable, and up-to-date data, no longer stuck in a silo, and are automatically compliant with GDPR, CCPA, and Cal-OPA. Finally, they can reduce their insurance premium because the data resides in our database, and when it transfers to them, it's encrypted. Now that's the end of the demo for the distribution features in Prophyles. But before you leave, let me answer a few frequently asked questions. What happens to the data when it is fetched from your database? It remains safely in our database with certain exceptions. For example, if you're dealing with a government agency or a bank who requires some critical information, such as your social security number, then they get only that information stored on their servers. The rest is encrypted, stored safely in our database, unless there is a justification for otherwise, which the API can provide. How is a connection really done between a profile of a user and a form? Through a digital card that the API automatically creates based on the fields requested. The company who has the API chooses what fields they want to fetch, but users also control whether or not they want to share what's requested from the form. And they can put some restrictions in their smart contract that defines the digital card created by the API. So it's a balance between what a company is requesting and what a user is willing to share. If they don't agree, then that connection doesn't take place, and the form is not completed. Hence, you can clearly see how we are empowering our users to take control of their personal information, which I think is long overdue. Thank you again for watching this demo of the distribution functions on Prophyles. We have a number of other demo videos that you can watch on our website or on WeFunder, Fundable, YouTube, Vimeo, and other social media platforms. And if you like what you see, tell your friends about Prophyles. Why? Because this time, it's personal.
It was a pleasure demoing the distribution features to you, and thank you again for your interest in Prophyles.